At a nonprofit I advised, the director wanted a flashy campaign: billboards, big spend, high visibility. I believed it would waste money that could be directed toward more effective grassroots work. I did what we all do when we're sure we're right. I built a deck to demolish the idea at our next meeting. I presented hard data on cost effectiveness and case studies showing how community organizing would be more effective. She pushed back harder. I was frustrated. She was defensive. We left stuck. I tried something different at the next meeting. I shared the story of when we first met to discuss potential work together, and when we shared our stories about growing up in environments where opportunity was scarce, but joining a community gave us hope and purpose. I reminded her of our shared values, of her values. I noted that she was holding important values of visibility, with funders, urgency, and momentum, while I was holding the values of community, trust, and long-term impact. They are all important, so how do we honor them? The conversation shifted. We started problem solving and co-creating. It was us against the problem. Learning. Difficult conversations aren't won with sharper data, but built through genuine connection. It's about making the other person feel heard and anchoring the conversation in shared values. This skill is a cornerstone of effective leadership, and it's why we're dedicating this month to difficult conversations. We've already explored the mindset of playfulness and a practical guide, and today we're diving deep into the art of persuasion, the allure of the argument, why we get it wrong. We've all been there. A disagreement with a colleague, a tense budget discussion with a partner, a frustrating conversation with a teenager. Our instinct is to lead with our side of the story and facts, to build our case. We believe that if we can just explain our position clearly and logically, the other person will see the light. This is what the authors of the book Difficult Conversations call the what happened conversation. The problem is this conversation isn't just about the facts, it's about our interpretation of the facts. We have our story, they have theirs, and we often proceed as if our story is the only one that's true. This approach immediately puts us in an adversarial position. We're so focused on delivering our message that we fail to realize the other person is doing the exact same thing. The result? We're not having a conversation. We're having a monologue in unison. We're not persuading, we're pushing. No results, just frustration. Let's see what we can do about it. Quick leadership check-in. Share your biggest leadership challenge in just 60 seconds. Your input will directly shape our upcoming issues and trainings. Share here. The power of connection. Understanding. Before influencing, the art of persuasion is not a battle of arguments, but a process of connection. It's a paradox. To get someone to see your point of view, you must first fully and genuinely understand theirs. Former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, featured on podcasts like The Art of Charm, calls it tactical empathy. It's not about agreeing with the other person or even liking them. It's about understanding their perspective so completely that you can articulate it back to them. When you can say, "It sounds like you feel unappreciated because you've been putting in extra hours and no one has acknowledged it," you're not conceding your point, you're building a bridge, you're showing them that you're not the enemy, that you're listening and acknowledging their point of view. This taps into one of the fundamental principles of influence: reciprocity. When you offer someone the gift of understanding, they feel a subconscious pull to offer you the same in return. Persuasion begins not with evidence, but with establishing credibility and connecting emotionally. Before people will listen to your logic, they need to feel that you understand their reality. From theory to practice, how to build connection in your next difficult conversation. Moving from theory to practice in difficult conversations requires shifting from a warrior mindset to a learner mindset. Here are practical steps to help make this shift. Listen to understand, not to respond. Most of us listen while planning our rebuttal. The goal here is to listen with the sole purpose of understanding the other person's world. Use active listening techniques. Paraphrase. So if I'm understanding you correctly, your main concern is ask open-ended questions. Instead of, "Did you miss the deadline?" Try, "Can you walk me through what happened with the project timeline?" Mirroring. Repeat the last few words the person said. It feels unnatural at first, but it's an incredibly effective way to get someone to elaborate. If they say, I'm just completely overwhelmed, you can respond with, completely overwhelmed? This simple act encourages them to keep talking, giving you more insight into their perspective. 2. Shift from blame to contribution. Difficult situations are rarely one person's fault. More often, they are the result of a system of contributions from all parties. Instead of a mental tug of war over who is to blame, ask yourself, how did we each contribute to this situation? This question can transform a conversation from an accusation into an exploration. It's not about letting someone off the hook, it's about creating a more complete and accurate picture of the problem. 3. Acknowledge and name the emotions. Difficult conversations are often fueled by strong emotions. Ignoring them is like trying to ignore a fire in the room. Instead, acknowledge the emotions without judgment. Naming an emotion has a powerful effect. It validates the other person's feelings and diffuses their intensity. Saying something as simple as, "It sounds like you're feeling really frustrated," can be a turning point in a conversation. People are more open to hearing your perspective once they feel that their own feelings have been heard. 4. Frame for a shared future. Once you've built that bridge of understanding, you can begin to introduce your perspective. The key is to frame your goals in a way that aligns with what you've learned about their interests. Instead of, "We need to do this my way," try, "Given that we both want to avoid this kind of miscommunication in the future, what if we tried?" This transforms the conversation from a zero-sum game into a collaborative problem-solving session. The takeaway: persuasion is a dance, not a duel. Persuasion is not about winning an argument, it's about achieving a goal, and the most effective way to do that in a difficult conversation is to stop fighting and start connecting. By listening with genuine curiosity, by acknowledging the other person's perspective, and by reframing the conversation as a shared challenge, you can move from a stalemate to a solution. Now go and have that difficult conversation that you know you need to have, and test out this new mindset and principles. Let us know how it goes. Unmatched quality, proven results, momentous creatine. Creatine is one of the most effective and well-researched supplements for improving strength, power, recovery, and cognitive performance. Momentous creatine contains CreaPure, the purest pharmaceutical-grade creatine monohydrate, single-sourced from Germany for unmatched quality and consistency. Every batch is NSF certified for sport, meaning it's independently tested for safety, label accuracy, and banned substances. With no fillers, no artificial additives, and clinically validated dosing, it embodies the Momentous standard, a commitment to science-backed formulas, transparency, and uncompromising quality. This is why it's trusted by professional teams, Olympic athletes, and the U.S. military's top performers. Whether you're starting your creatine journey or returning after a break, Momentous Creatine gives you the confidence of knowing you're fueling your body with the very best, precisely formulated for results you can feel and trust. Head to Live Momentous.com and use code HIVE for up to 35% off your first order. Elevate your performance.